Terminator Dark Fate is the 6th film in the Terminator franchise. However, it retcons Terminator 3, 4 and 5, so only Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 Judgment Day have actually happened in the continuity of events in the franchise. And I watched Terminator 1 and 2 in preparation for this, and I loved both, especially the first one, and I was really excited for this despite the mediocre trailers. And the best part of this film is no doubt the action. Whilst being fairly CGI heavy, it's very entertaining, and Tim Miller has a clear understanding of how to frame and direct good action scenes. And the second half of the film is basically non-stop action, and it's very entertaining and fun, and it's definitely the better portion of the film. And the main cast is great. It's awesome seeing Schwarzenegger and Hamilton together again on the screen, and some of the best scenes in the film are with them. Mckenzie and Natalia Reyes brilliantly hold their own though, with Reyes being the standout of the film as Dani. Hamilton has one scene in particular that is absolutely heartbreaking in the film because of her performance. There's a face that she makes at the start of the film, and if you've seen the first two films and even mildly care about any of the characters in it, it will really hit you and really break your heart. The CGI is surprisingly great too. Some of the exact shots you're seeing in the trailers right now are far better in the actual film, and the liquid metal and Terminator effects for the villain look amazing, and the CGI heavy finale is practically flawless save from one very brief shot. However, the big problem with the film though is the script, and it really holds it back from being up there with Terminator 1 and 2. Having retconned half the franchise, they had so much potential for what they could do, but they waste it in a very frustrating way that I have seen fans have gotten really upset about already. And I'm not upset about it, I'm just annoyed because of the potential that was here by retconning half the franchise, especially as I love the first two films, like lots of people do. And the problem for the film is hard to explain without going into heavy spoiler territory. So I'll give a vague, spoiler-free explanation and explain it with spoilers after I give my rating. Very early on, they do something that renders one of the first two films basically pointless. They then set up a new plot that is exactly the same as the plot from the film that they rendered pointless. And it's a huge waste of potential, and it's very frustrating that they retcon so much, and then retcon another film that apparently still happened, and then just make the exact same story again. I mean it, without spoilers, the story they recreate here, down to every tiny detail, is almost exactly the same, just with a different name and face. You don't even need to like the first two films. As long as you understand them and be able to follow their plot, you'll see the problem with the script here. And to be honest, this one will probably be a lot more enjoyable if you haven't seen the first two films. So if you haven't seen the first two and you want to just see a fun action film and that's all you want this film to be, that's what I'd recommend. Watch this one on its own, having not seen the others, if you want to enjoy it as much as you can, and then watch the other two, because it really would be so much better if there wasn't that frustration with the script there. This is a small nitpicky thing, but they didn't use the Terminator theme until the credits, and the theme is so iconic that I wished it was used more. And there is one feminism line which is quite out of place and very annoying when it occurs. However, Arnie does bring some much needed humour in his scenes, and he has some great jokes. And overall, the movie's okay, it's fine. I haven't seen Terminator 3, 4 and 5, but I'm sure it's better than them based on what I've heard about them. And the second half's a lot of fun, whether you care about the other films or not. But it's the script and story that really hold it back, and frustratingly so, as there are so many things I could think of that they could have gone for, including Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger as characters, but they didn't do it, and they just recreated the same thing, and it's so frustrating. I'm going to give Terminator Dark Fate a 6 out of 10. Now, this is where I'm going to go into spoiler territory, explaining my problem with the film in the best detail that I can for you guys. So, if you want to see the film without spoilers, this is my spoiler warning. I thought the film was okay, it's lots of fun the second half, especially if you haven't seen the first two. So see it if you want a good time, but this is my spoiler warning from here on out. In the opening scene, John Connor is killed by a Terminator who looks like Arnie, sent back to kill him just before Skynet was destroyed at the end of T2. And this then renders the majority of T2 pointless, as a major part of that film was protecting John in order to save the future, as well as destroying Skynet. However, because of his death, that means that a new network of machines called Legion take over and cause an apocalypse, which is exactly the same as the one that Skynet caused in T1 and T2, except the CGI is slightly better and the Terminators are a bit more advanced. And it's later revealed that Natalia Reyes' character, Dani, will become the leader for a human rebellion, and will become a mother figure for Grace, Mckenzie Davis's character, and will later send her back in time to protect her from a Terminator sent back by Legion in the film's present timeline of events. And if you've seen Terminator 1 and 2, you know that this is exactly the same as those two films, especially Terminator 2. And the fact they retconned everything and just waste it by remaking the same thing, and then retcon a classic that he still said happened, it's just such a waste of potential, and is very, very irritating, and is a real shame it has so much potential. Nonetheless, I still very much enjoyed the action, especially in the second half, and it was great seeing Schwarzenegger and Hamilton together on screen again, as well as Mckenzie Davis and Natalia Reyes, who were brilliant in the film. But overall, like I said, an okay film that would be way more fun if you haven't seen the others. That was my review of Terminator Dark Fate, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it. Goodbye.